Hey there, folks. Uh, so I thought I would throw this little idea I've had the last few years and been putting into play, and it works really well. So I thought I would throw it on here. Maybe it'll help somebody. I don't know. Uh, so where I live, it's all cattle, and it's like large cattle herds. So nobody really deals with small bales. I lucked out and found a stack of these that someone was getting rid of and put in a straw bale with an arch. Um, and so if you break down what straw bale gardening is, it's basically compost. It's high nitrogen content and high carbon content. Nitrogen breaks down the carbon, creates your compost. So, a few years ago, I got some access to dump truck loads full of manure that was getting cleaned out of a feed lot. Um, and if you're fortunate enough to find that, that's actually pretty good stuff. It's a little rocky. It's full of some sand and grit and stuff like that because they scrape it down to bare dirt again. So you can either screen it out with a compost sifter or just leave it, which is what I'm doing. It creates air pockets and stuff like that, and I don't dig my garden, so I do a no-till deal, so it's really not that big a deal if there's rocks in there somewhere. But because we normally only have access to large bales out here, and that is not economical to buy $75, well, back then, 120 some dollar bales to make straw bale gardens out of. I took the principle of straw and nitrogen and put them together. And so let's see here. Over here, I got this in-ground raised bed. It's just one of these roof and tin deals I use just to throw together to make quick raised beds, but it's buried underground. And what I've done is torn apart big bales, and you can get them real easy if you live in ranching area or find somebody who's in ranching area, because at the end of the year, at the end of the winter, there's usually a lot of moldy bales that didn't make it. And they can't feed it to the animals because they're all producing offspring at that point, and the mold causes them to abort. So yeah, they get rid of it. They just burn it in a pile. So I get the rotten bales and feedlot manure. Uh, and this stuff's actually kind of agey. It's been around for a while, so it's not raw. It's damn near compost anyway, but it's full of nitrogen. So I end up taking these boxes, and I've been doing this a couple years now, and I fill it full of straw. I water it. It'll cause it to sink like it's done now, and then I'll put more straw on, and then I'll water it again, and you soak the ever-loving crap out of it, and it'll keep sinking down. And then when I get to this point and it's finally sunk down, this has sunk down a little bit more. I probably should put more straw on top and fill it back up. But I'm kind of doing something different, so I want more soil, and I have plenty of compost. But I'm going to put this, I'm going to put a few wheelbarrows of the manure on top of it. So that gives you your nitrogen source and your carbon source, and then you water it. I'm going to put compost, like finished compost on top, and I'm going to water it in. But all through the year, if you water it, it'll continue to break down, and eventually this stuff will turn into beautiful compost underneath. There'll be like a half-inch layer of hay at the bottom that kind of creates a hard pan. So it's not necessarily, you end up having to dig the bed up, 2 years later or a year later, but you can grow in it those first 2 years too, if you put a compost layer on top. But it kind of acts like a straw bale / hugelkultur system in there. And it breaks down throughout the year, and then over the winter it breaks down some more. And I've done it in large scales. I've used it in great big 6-foot diameter water troughs for cattle. And it works out really well. It's created some beautiful dirt. So it's rather than trying to pay a bunch of money for straw bales that are good just to rot them, the principle is that you can take crap hay to begin with, add crap manure or crap to it, and in 1 year's time, and rather than turning it, and if you don't have a big area and you just want to do in-ground gardening, you know, or make compost in ground, you can basically do it this way, and it's the same thing as a straw bale gardening. Basically, it's just deconstructed, and it I been working for me for about 2 or 3 years now. So anyway, hope I got that described properly, but good enough for you to understand. But anyway, I hope that helps somebody. Bye.